the law was carried out. So we have to understand, yes, there is certain laws and criteria in the Quran, but the most thing and the most important thing that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala emphasized in the Quran is mercy. If you want to have mercy from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, then you should have mercy in His creation. You should have mercy on His creation. We should not live our life as black and white. We should not be like, okay, this person committed a mistake, let me look in the Quran, what does it say? We have to have wisdom in solving problems, brothers and sisters. We have to have wisdom to understand what is halal and haram. Often we ask questions, what is halal and haram, to questions that it is very, very simple to answer. Very simple to answer. The Quran does not tell you exactly this and this is haram. But you have to take a moment and sit, because majority of us, believe it or not, as human beings, when we ask if something is haram, we already know it's haram. But we only ask that we have an opinion to agree with us so we could keep doing it. So we could keep doing it. I'll give you an example. For example, listening to music, right? There's a big discussion and dispute. Many people come and ask me, many people did that. Is listening to music haram? The Quran does not say it's haram, even though there is a hadith that the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ has walked by people that they were playing instruments, and he told his companions that you shouldn't do something like that. But let's take this out of the picture. Right? Let's take this out of the picture. What do you understand of your deen and Islam? What do you understand by practicing your deen? What do you achieve? What do you achieve by practicing the deen? Only Jannah? If this is the only thing that you think, then you don't understand your deen. The more you practice your deen, the more you come to closer to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the more content and happy you will be. So ask yourself question. Ask yourself this question. When you listen to music, what is music? It's the opposite of the Quran. When you listen to the music, are you going to come closer to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? No, you will go down a little bit. So therefore, it's not going to give you happiness. You think it is happiness, is something that you want to do, but it's not, brothers and sisters. It is not something you want to do. That's what you think. That's what you think, because you've been doing it. That's what you think you want to do. Because I want to do it because I like to listen to music. You have been deceived. This is not what's going to make you happy. You think that's what's going to make you happy. Just like the people that take drugs. It's the same exact concept. When they are doing it, this is something they want to do, because this is what gives them a quick fix. It's something that they think is going to make them happy. It's the same exact concept. Brothers and sisters, when it comes to music, trust me, it is not something that you would ask if it's halal and haram. If you take the moment and occupy your time, for example, listening to Quran, understanding the Quran, studying Islam, and stuff like that. When you start listening to Quran and learning, your time becomes so occupied. When you start listening to music, you realize it's rubbish. It is truly rubbish. It is rubbish. It's taking you away from the reality. It is consuming and occupying your time until you die, and then you have benefited nothing from this dunya. So the question is, it's not really halal and haram. And everything that we see, we should not put it as halal and haram, because this is the wisdom Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has taught us. So what we should, when we look at matters, is this something that I want to do? Is this something is going to make me happier in the long run? Or this is something that I don't want to do because it will harm me in this dunya? This is how we should look at stuff. The same thing goes with interest, for example. Yes, we learn from our mistakes, maybe some of us do, but when you come, okay, is buying a house and interest or accumulated interest, is this something that's going to make me happier? Because that's what we think. Achieving these things will make me happy. Or is it because if I follow what Allah says, it's going to make me happier? This is how we should come to conclusions. If we understand that concept, then we do not worry about what's halal and haram. Therefore, I stop doing haram, because if I do, this will make me closer to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. If I come closer to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, this will make me happier in this dunya. And this is something the shaitan will overwork himself to try to deceive you. Because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has made it very clear in the Quran. You stay away from muharramat, what is haram, then you will earn the right to be happy in this dunya. You will earn that right. But if you do these harams, they maybe make you happy for a moment, but in the long run, it is the destruction to your life. That we have to understand these things, brother and sister. So what we do when we read the Quran, take a moment to have not only to say I want to better myself in Islam and stuff like that, I want to become wiser. I want to understand how to think, how to put things in place. Because as we grow, we're going to come through matters in our life. Whether it comes from our sibling, whether it comes from our children, they're going to do things that we need wisdom to try to solve it. It is very important. Because sometimes we might make the decision, the wrong decision. The lack of knowledge, the lack of wisdom that caused one of them maybe kill themselves. You never know. It might cause one of them to go completely astray because of our lack of wisdom. It might cause Muslims to stop coming to certain masjid or stop coming from masjids at all. It might stop people from taking the shahada because of our ignorance and lack of wisdom. So this is a responsibility. The Prophet Muhammad ﷺ says, knowledge, it's an obligation in every Muslim. It is a true obligation in every Muslim. It is not an excuse that you are praying wrong because you do not know how to. It is not an excuse that you're committing sins because you don't know how to. Because this is an obligation knowledge. It's a wajib. Just like praying. Praying 5 times a day, it's a wajib. It's a mandatory something on you. Knowledge, attaining knowledge, it is an obligation that is put on you from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The first commandment that He has revealed, Iqra, read, research, try to understand. Because the more knowledge that we have, the stronger ummah we are going to have. The stronger ummah that we are going to have, the happier people that we will be. أقول قولي هذا وأستغفر الله العلي العظيم لي ولكم فاستغفروه إنه غفور رحيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم والصلاة والسلام على أشرف الأنبياء والمرسلين نبينا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه ومن تبعهم بإحسان إلى يوم الدين. Brothers and sisters, in conclusion, that the religion really of Islam is extremely simple. But there is one thing that you have to make sure, that is correct in your belief and in your heart, which is I mentioned in the last khutbah, which is the La ilaha illallah. It is extremely important to understand what is La ilaha illallah. Because everything in this world, from your day of your creation, falls under La ilaha illallah, Tawheed. For everything that you do, an action, every action that you do in this dunya, it manifests what you really believe. Every action that you do. So your actions should manifest La ilaha illallah. I'm reacting this way because of Allah. I'm staying quiet because of Allah. I'm doing this because of Allah. Because this is the first and the best way of giving da'wah. Because maybe we'll say La ilaha illallah, but our action, it is not really for the reason of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So we control our anger because of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We donate because of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We give some of our wealth because of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. A lot of things that we do because of Allah. This is what it means, La ilaha illallah. As I said, only Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Why are we doing that? Because we believe there is no God but Allah. There is nothing that could give us whatever we want. There is nothing that could make us happy. There is nothing more true than Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You should not go into trying to practice, okay, let me test it out and try to do these things. You have to believe in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. This is what Allah told you. You shouldn't go try it out to prove it to yourself. Because sometimes you get so caught up into trying out the other way that you will die doing the other way. That you might die doing the other way. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, the Prophet Muhammad says, قُولُوا لَا إِلَهَ إِلَّا اللَّهُ تُفْلِحُوا. As I mentioned the last khutbah, you will be successful. This is what you truly have to believe. You have to believe in that. You truly have to believe in that. And this ummah needs that. We all need to believe in that, to become strong, to understand. For Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to be on our side. We have to understand that. We have to react with